fragrance is such a personal subject that I equate the fragrance is almost the same as talking about religion and politics. It's so personal. Excuse me. I'm not saying let's not talk about it. I'm saying it's a very personal subject. So the real reason I'm touching on the subject is when customer calls me and says, can you advise me on a fragrance? So how am I supposed to do that? So I have this step-by-step that I go through, and it's very simple. It's please tell me what you like. Equally, please tell me what you hate. Okay? And the reason for that is that narrows me down what to stay away from, and that takes me to a genre that I begin to understand the genre. Why is that also important? It's because at the end of the day, you know, we come from all different cultures. We come from different backgrounds. We had different foods. We have different part of the planet, different temperatures, so many differences that a single fragrance, because it is a memory recall, it could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, it could be really traumatic thing. So it's so difficult to not advise a customer on a touchy subject. For example, you, and I don't want to say this way, I'll personalize it. Through my cancer, I had a certain fragrance that I know that the minute I smell it, I remember that fragrance at that moment. And that connection, I really don't want. I don't want to put it on me so I can remember that. It's better off not remembered. For other people, it's more like I love a homey feeling because I come, for example, from the Caribbean, or I come from the Middle East, or I come from Asia. I don't think anybody understands how delicate the Asian nose is. They like everything super. So I'm not massive categorizing it, but there are definitely trends, and which is super important to understand that. And it's kind of off to ask somebody, what nationality are you? So what I do for that is I say, where did you live? Where did you grow up? Tell me about your experiences. Tell me something that you loved and you remember a particular fragrance. These things is how I help my customer kind of like hone in. And then what I do is, now that I have this library, because I have a library of fragrances in my mind, and I have this customer who's on the phone who's telling me about their life and what they love and what they hate, I can narrow it down and present not necessarily exactly what they want, but a bouquet that's kind of like in that genre that they experiment with and they begin to now love. Something very important here. Ask yourself this question. How long have you been wearing your perfume, and are you prone to changing it? Most people wear perfume for 10 years. Same one. Forever. They love it. It's very hard to change. So if you love a candle, so my job would be to understand, absorb, and not necessarily give you exactly what you want, but give you a bouquet that has similarities of what's called likeness. So my job is to create likeness, so you explore inside of what's familiar to you. And that's really what I really hone in on when somebody calls me and says, Rafi, I don't know what to pick, because there's so many fragrances. I have 54 fragrances. You can take the white elephant and do 54 different fragrances with that. How are you supposed to pick? You can say, Rafi, tell me your best-selling fragrance or your worst-selling fragrance. That doesn't mean anything. It just means there are more people who like that particular fragrance. That doesn't mean you're going to like it. So that's kind of like a problematic situation to be in from my perspective. So what do? I continually communicate. So I ask the question, what's your good? What's your bad? And I zip my mouth and I listen. When you're listening, what is happening actually is they're actually telling you a lot, because they're telling you about the excuse me, dry throat. They're telling you about their youth, what they grew up with, what they love, when they went to their grandmother, what she was wearing, they like it or not like it. Because sometimes people say, oh, this smells like grandma, I don't like it. Okay. Or this smells like a hotel lobby, I love it. Or this smells like, this sexy guy I met and I never was able to say hello to him, or this beautiful girl that was wearing something, I don't know what she was wearing, but it reminds me of that. It's very important to understand the experience behind a particular fragrance as it relates to the person buying it and smelling it. My nose, my experiences are not the same as yours. My fantasy of this beautiful place that you come in and it smells luscious, I don't know how we're not the same. So it's very hard, but it becomes a lot easier when you ask the question. So for anyone who's looking to, text me, email me, do whatever you want, but give me those directions when you're ready to buy something, and I can help you that way, because that's the only way I can do it. For me, like, I know gardenia for me is like, it's like heaven. I don't know why, but it's heaven. I love fresh eucalyptus. I love that. But that orange blossom, spectacular. Reminds me of my youth. Reminds me, like rose water reminds me of my youth. But that's just me. That's the point. That's why I say it's equal to religion and what do you call it? Because everything is personal. I will never get involved in a conversation in politics. I will never get involved in a conversation with religion. That's your thing. So that's my answer. So whoever wants to kind of like get involved with me on selecting a fragrance, send me an email. Just info@Thompson Ferrier. Ralph, I like these and I hate these, and I will direct you. Love you guys. Mwah.